01. Well, language is the battleground in Shakespeare's most contentious romantic comedy, and it is playing June 22nd through July 1st at the Edgewood College Amphitheater. Madison Shakespeare Company presents The Taming of the Shrew. They'll also be crashing the party at Optimist Theater's Shakespeare in the Park production of King Lear in Milwaukee, performing their own version of King Lear, L-E-I-R, just before the show, and we'll find out if they have a permit for that. But mostly we want to talk about Taming the Shrew, because that's what's coming right up. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And these guys I speak of are Sarah Johnson, who adapted the script for the production, Denzel Taylor, who plays Lucentio, and Jason Compton, the MSC producer, who portrays Tranio, Lucentio's faithful servant. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So the Taming of the Shrew, the question one has to always ask is, okay, I hear the word adaptation in there. It's kind of at the base, it feels a little bit like a misogynistic play sometimes that of all Shakespeare's plays, and he's so famous for remaining relevant over the many years, is perhaps the one that's most challenging to keep relevant. So how do you do that?
I'm going to kick it to Sarah to talk about her adaptation, but as the MSC producer, I want to say that we've been at MSC since 2012, and when we really got things moving again in 2015, I made a conscious decision that we were going to try to be Madison Shakespeare Company, not Madison Shakespeare. Well, not that one. Not that one. We better not do that one. And let's find out what the audience is really willing to take, and if they really only want 4 or 5 plays, there are places they can get that. But we're going to try to give them more of the canon. And now to talk about exactly how we adapted it, Sarah, take it away.
Thanks. Yeah, it is. When I was asked to look at the script for the first time, and I was reading through it again, because of course most of us are familiar with having seen the play or the film, and I was going through it, and I'm thinking, yeah, there's still a lot of stuff in here that is not okay for a modern audience, and yet what struck me as I was going through, and it is a fairly faithful adaptation, the changes I made were primarily cuts. And an adapter can shape the story through cuts, obviously, but then there are also a few tweaks when it comes to language, and I was amazed as I went through, looking at some of the most famous and yet also some of the most problematic speeches, that just a few changes can make a big difference. And I think the play can remain relevant. I think we're doing it because it's hilarious, and it's not just the Battle of the Sexes stuff that's funny. The rest of the play is very, very funny. But when it comes to the issue of a woman who won't shut up, a woman who others look down on and revile because of how she speaks, and yet she finds somebody who will let her speak. She has the longest speech in the entire play. And
does it pass the Alison Bechdel test? I don't know if anybody's applied that to Shakespeare yet.
Ooh, that would be a rough one. Because there are not that many written as female characters in Shakespeare, so it would be. I'm sure somebody has gone through and analyzed how many. I suppose
we should explain that
test.
Quickly. What is it that women?
Women having a conversation about something other than a man
for a certain length of time.
I think
over
for
a minute or something.
Lines,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in all of this, we're leaving out the mostly unmodified, touching love story of Lucentio and Tranio, or Bianca, I guess.
Well, Lucentio, what do you have to say about that being left out?
Well, Lucentio, he's someone who definitely does his own thing. So for him, it's kind of all right. He's gonna dive into what it is that he wants. So to see how both of these love stories play out, I think is one of the most interesting parts, because you have it's almost like when you have your A and your B story, and Lucentio, just to see how hysterical he can be over this person that he loves, I think is just really entertaining for people to witness.
By which you're talking about Tranio, of course. The very first couple. Hey, look, I'm just saying, the first
Your
couple you
character,
see in this
Jason.
show are Lucentio and Tranio. Let's just call it what
Hey,
it is. here.
Lucentio and Tranio are very close, so that's going to be another interesting thing for people to witness and experience.
All right. You want to let people know that this is at Edgewood Amphitheater, June 22nd, July 1st. You want to also let them know that the construction isn't nearly as scary as they might think it is in that area, and that you've pushed back the start time from the usual 6:30 to this happens at 7 o'clock for
7
Taming of the
p.m.
Shrew. And it's outdoors, right?
It is outdoors, and the weather's looking good for the rest of the weekend. And yeah, Monroe Street, just ask your GPS. He or she, that the magic voice will give you the best way to get there, but it's really not too bad. Leave time, there's ample parking.
We have like 1 minute for you to tell us about this crazy thing you're doing in Milwaukee. How you crashing somebody's party for King Lear?
Oh, yeah. So King Lear, it's long, it's boring, it's depressing. It turns out that Shakespeare, let's say, liberally adapted it from an earlier play called The True Chronicle History of King Lear, Leir, and it ends with a happy, smiling, freeze-frame high five between Lear and his good daughter Cordelia, who have defeated all their enemies. We're going to take that to Milwaukee. We're going to show those people the real story, the true story, get them in and out of there in 25 minutes, start to finish. They can go home happy and get on with the rest of their lives, not sit there sobbing and being morose and just watching people get their eyes gouged out and killed. And it's completely unnecessary.
But
The True Chronicle
they
History-
could watch yours and then go in because you're going to be right outside their theater, right?
Yeah.
Or nearby.
Yeah, but why? Milwaukee's got so much nightlife. They're gonna,
You could sell your tickets.
Why
They
even
may plan
stay?
on that, but they're just gonna scalp the tickets and go out for sushi after they see
we,
your play.
we endorse that plan. So
All right.
that's starting July 8th. We've got 4 dates out there, but first we'd love you to come see Taming of the Shrew at Edgewood, running through July 1st. Yeah, it's 7 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow we do a couple of 4 p.m. Sunday matinees. We'll be back next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's an hour 45 minutes, no intermission. Sarah's done a great job.
All right, thank you guys. That was Jason can talk as fast as I can, so that's good.